Alright, it's the next update. Finished bodywork on the other side. Spot primered it, sanded it. It's pretty spot on. It's pretty straight. So spun the car around, put it in here. Scuffed up the quarter panel. You see, I showed you that. That's the dent we're gonna pull out. Try and stud gun it. But found two dings in the B pillar. So while that's drying, I started sanding the door. Like I said, this is all white Rust-Oleum paint, and the door, the fender, and the door on the other side were off another car of mine. Car was originally red. Then you can see there's some yellow, and that was another paint job. The car had an R title, so it was vandalized, and it had someone graffitied it, I believe, and that's why all the black's there. And then I painted it white, so it's a fucking mess. So while that's drying, I'm trying to sand this down, just taking 80 grit and taking this all down, get the bodywork done. 80 grit's a little too coarse, so after this is all done, I'm gonna come back with 220 before we primer it. 220, probably 400. It'd be a lot easier if the rest of the car was like this, where you could just scuff it and shoot it. You know, do some body work, but I converted the car to be manual windows instead of power. Not only for the weight, these old Mazdas, the power windows, they suck. So, you know, I don't, it sucks on this car. The windows take like 10 minutes to roll up. I don't feel like putting motors and switches in them, and the parts just get too expensive. So, that's easier. And then, you can see I still got more over here to do, and get all this yellow and black shit off of there. Next thing, we'll be working on the fender. So far, it don't look like there's too much body work to be done. There's a couple spots. I believe there's one over here, but it's very, very, very tiny. I'm not going to get too crazy below the body line, but that also looks pretty straight. Can't really tell until all the paint's off of there. But the fender's pretty straight. I put this one on here because on the other one, the door and the fender were fixable, but there was too much work to be done. The door bit the fender, so I just put this one on there. And the only thing sucks is now I gotta get the white off of it, but there's a little ding there and a little bit of rust starting, so I gotta sand all that off right there. But we'll take care of that. And then bumper's off on that side, so I just gotta disconnect on this side, pull the bumper off, put it on the stand, pull the two lights out at the flash pass lights, and scuff what I need to get it ready for paint. I have this bumper here. It's got a piece missing out of it. This is off a different car that I parted out, but looking at it straight on, you can't even tell. Plus I got those fender guards. They'll probably wrap up to just about there, so you won't even pay attention to it. The S5 89 to 91 Rx7 parts are not really scarce with with this style body molding, but they're just way more money. I had that laying around, and it's totally better than this bumper, where it's also cracked in the same spot, but I don't have the proper tools to fix that. That's also beat. I was gonna cut it, the top of the exhaust all the way down across to the other exhaust outlet, but I think it'll still look like hell. So that's what we're working with there. I'm gonna keep going, see what else I can find on it. Alright, we got another update. I already sanded this, and it was a little low in the corner here, so just did another pass on that. We're gonna go back with the block, one of these with some 80 grit, and then we're gonna go back at it. I sanded the whole door, do some filler on some of the spots. I just went over it with the palm sander quick, just to get some of the higher stuff on there. And then over here, took a razor blade with some filler on it, and just there was like scratches from like a. It looked like if you did it into the filler with like a screwdriver or something like that, it just fell out. This is some old repairs in there, but just filled it, just the little pinholes, and just to smooth it all out. Come back, block it. Sanded this whole fender. What a pain in the ass. The white came off of this, and you can see there's still some E-coat, some primer underneath, and some of the red from the original paint. The white came off along with the black primer or spray paint, whatever it was, and then straight to bare metal. I gotta get some of that off of there. Over here there was a pretty big repair area. It wasn't the best, so I took quite a bit of it out of there. And I'm coming back at it, and I'm gonna do it. There's a dent right here in the corner. You see that? So I'm gonna have to sand that a little bit, add more filler. While I have the wheel off, I'm gonna sand the edges, get all this off of there. Starting to get it loose for when it does come off. All I have is the top bolts there, and then there's one in the door in here. But I have the wheel off because I'm getting this side of the bumper off. How to get the bumper off? There's 3 bolts from inside the fender, which take the plastic well out on either side. You can see them over here. There's see the studs snapped off on the bumper here and there and there. I'm gonna have to come up with something, drill those out, put new studs in or something. Couple bolts up here, and on the bottom plastic there's a couple bolts, and then the lip of the front spoiler goes to the fender. There's a couple 8mm you gotta take out, and once you do that, the bumper will just lift out of place. Those are the studs I was just talking about. I went ahead and took out the lights and stuff like that, and then I'm just gonna give this a scuff. Probably gonna fill that, and maybe down here on the edge I'll do some playing with it, but that's it mostly for now. And then the rest of the bolts of the fender, there's one in there, 2 at the bottom, and then there's one and 2 here. So then the fender just pop right off of there. So we're gonna hit that with the block. Try and bang a lot of this bodywork out. But for the most part, it's pretty straight. Still trying to get the stud gun, or maybe I'll heat it up with a torch. I'll pull this side exhaust off of there and just fucking pound it out with a hammer or something. I'm tired of fucking dealing with it. It's gonna get covered anyway, so. Alright, so we came back over. Took care of that. That's nice and smooth now. I had to go back over here, second coat, and bring this out a little bit wider, but I had to bring it to the edge, and that's pretty good now. All the little spots are filled in. You can't really tell a whole bunch more, but there was a spot there, and then I had to come back over this. This is going to be the 3rd time. Just bring this down to the edge. There was a low spot there. Into the fender on the door edge right here. Some filling, some sanding. Yeah, that's pretty much done. Same thing up in the fender. You had to take all this filler out of there. There's only a little bit left. You can see mostly where the fresh stuff is. This blue here, and then this edge right here. And just use different color hardeners. It also helps too when you have different color hardener. You can see actually what's new and what's different, and how far you're sanding into stuff. It's pretty smooth. Something going on right there. Just noticed that. I'm gonna come back with the block. See if I can smooth that out. This is on the 3rd coat. Also, I did fix right about here. And then notice there's a low spot here, so I just kind of feathered it out, and then it's kind of ugly now. Kind of just pooped it on there, and we'll go over with the block and take care of it. We'll smooth it right out. Might have to come back for another pass over that in this area where it was low, just another skim. But we're getting there.